on this week's episode of The Pulse. It's a brand new semester here at SHU.
Meet the university's new Dean of Students.
Get a look into the men's hockey team's newest members.
And get an exclusive tour of the brand new studios here at the School of Communication, Media, and the Arts.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
I'm Molly Jacob.
And I'm Victoria Montori. These stories and more on Sacred Heart's very own monthly news show.
You're watching The Pulse. After 27 years serving as Sacred Heart's Dean of Students, Larry Welk has decided to retire. Two of our reporters, Megan Harkins and Isabel Haglung, sat down with a familiar face who has been appointed as the new dean.
Denise Tiberio has been at Sacred Heart University for 32 years. She has held many positions and now has been appointed as Dean of Students.
I served as the Assistant Dean of Students for about 25 years. So I was Assistant Dean, then Associate Dean, then Senior Associate Dean, and now Dean.
She believes her experiences have given her confidence and she knows she is prepared for this role.
We want to create the best and provide the best that we can for the students that come here, and I think that we can continue to do that, and I feel like my past experiences will help me guide the areas that I work with to build that experience for our students.
Throughout her career at SHU, she has worked under Dean Larry Welk. She does not plan to fill his shoes, but will be taking what she learned from him going forward.
His calm leadership, his ability to just look at a problem and not overreact.
Tiberio is very excited about working directly with students and supporting their needs.
I would say what I'm looking forward to most in this role is to find and to continue to find opportunities where I can work one-on-one with students, with student groups. I think everyone looks at the Dean of Students role sometimes as a disciplinarian. I don't really view it as such. I know that there are going to be times in this role that I will have to serve in that aspect.
During her time here, she has created lasting programs for students and their families, including Family Weekend and her personal favorite, the orientation program.
Some of my best memories over the years have been building this orientation program and working with orientation leaders to make sure that they have all the resources they need to provide the information that we have for our first-year students.
Former orientation leader and senior Kaylee Jess credits Denise for helping her become the leader she is today.
So my second year doing orientation, I became one of the co-Welcome Weekend and First 50 Days coordinators. So I got to work with Denise a little bit more through meetings and planning all of the events that we had to do. And she just turned out to be such an incredible mentor for me at Sacred Heart.
Tori Vaca, the Assistant Director of First Year Programs and 2020 graduate of Sacred Heart, works closely with Denise.
Denise is the best person to work with students. I've never met someone who cares more about every single student that walks through the door, who is so passionate about what she does, who genuinely just wants to help everyone. She's just so open and so warm, and it's so easy to connect with her, and students love her, and she loves them right back.
Tori recalls how Denise impacts the students at Sacred Heart.
She's made herself so accessible to make sure that they feel heard, but also that they're using her to further themselves.
Denise tells us she owes everything to Sacred Heart. The community has always felt like a family to her.
So I think we have an incredible community on our campus. We are very supportive of each other, and that is genuine. You know, when we see a student struggling or a staff member struggling, we're there for each other, and we want to be able to provide every type of resource we can to help them. And I think that is what's kept me here, is the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I spend more time with them than my family at home. So it's, you know, we are a family.
Denise Tiberio has already made so many great changes to the school community. It is obvious that the students at Sacred Heart are in good hands. For The Pulse, I'm Meg Harkins, Fairfield, Connecticut.
The new dean isn't the only change for Sacred Heart faculty this semester. Jim Barquinero, Senior Vice President of Enrollment, Student Affairs, and Athletics, has planned to retire after 33 years of dedicated service to the university. Barquinero has been an instrumental player in the development and growth of Sacred Heart. His list of achievements is extensive, with his most recent being the lead in the Martiri Family Arena Initiative. The university will certainly miss such a driving force behind our success.
Sacred Heart's Brewing Science program is teaching the next generation of brewers. Brendan Williams has a story of how the program blends beer with business.
Located 15 minutes from campus, Two Roads Brewery in Stratford houses a classroom unlike any other you'll find in Fairfield. Not many people would expect to come to a brewery to learn, but for graduate students in the Brewing Science program, beer is serious business.
More and more brewing science programs popping up throughout the country. There's nothing else really in this area, which is part of the opportunity that we saw in the challenge of creating something. We knew that it was needed in this area. The closest otherwise is Philadelphia or all the way up in Vermont. Up until a few years ago, you had to go to Germany or California or Chicago to get into a brewing science program. So it was something that Sacred Heart thought that we could be successful at, and the partnership with Two Roads is really a strong point. The relationship goes back to the start of Two Roads history, where we created the original Via Cordis brew together, and the science department at Sacred Heart helped us to select for a few wild yeasts that we found that Two Roads used in a couple of special brews. So the relationship was there. We had the space and we have the knowledge and talent to make this happen. I've designed the classes from the start with the idea that I'm the director of brewing at Two Roads Brewing Company, as well as the director of this program, but I'm always looking for what's going to make a great candidate. Who do I want to walk through my door and say, give me a job?
Now in its fourth cohort of students, the program takes less than a year to complete.
It is, I can tell you, a very diverse, not only in terms of, background, color, sex, everything, but what they're coming from. We have aerospace people that are looking for a change. We have, husbands and wives that are just looking for a change. We have functioning, working brewers to, and everything in between. So it's a really broad spectrum of people that come into this class. It surprises me how broad it is.
Via Cordis started out years back now as just a fun collaboration between Sacred Heart and Two Roads, and it was a Belgian Abbey single, pretty good basic brewers type of beer, but that kind of went away. And more recently, what we've decided to do in partnership with the Brewing Science program is bring that style back. There's a really strong brand. And now we have the opportunity to brew that every year. So what the class is working on today and for the next matter of weeks, we'll be developing different styles of beer. They're writing their own recipes. As we kind of tweak these beers, one of them may just become the next Via Cordis.
We're making a pale ale, and the pale ale that we're doing, we put honey malt in it. So we're kind of going for like a sweeter malt taste, but we're also using hops. So hops is like sort of like a bitter plant that they put in beers, and you get that in like IPAs and that sort of style beer. I don't know if you ever had a beer, it kind of tastes earthy, kind of like pine. So we're doing kind of a balance between like honey malt and like a sweet pale ale, and then we're putting some bittering hops in there. Nice contrast between bitter and sweet.
Graduates of the program have gone on to create their own successful bars and restaurants.
There's a camaraderie within our industry that is different than most. We are businesses and we're competitive, of course. Every business is, but we're all friends. We all support each other. We all drink each other's beers. To me, it's kind of when you get artists together, and I put us in there with any kind of artist, there's that immediate understanding. It's not an easy journey. It's not a high-paying journey. You're not going to get rich. You're going to work long, brutal, hard hours that are going to be hot and painful and at times just tough. But you're making beer.
If you're interested in trying the Via Cordis brew, it's available exclusively at Two Roads in Stratford. For The Pulse, I'm Brendan Williams, Fairfield, Connecticut.
When we get back, a look into the mystery of our very own Sacred Heart mascot.
And later, visit the brand new studios here at the School of Communication, Media, and the Arts. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Pulse. 13 new names have been added to the Sacred Heart men's ice hockey team after wrapping up last year's campaign in their new home, the Martiri Family Arena. In this year's class are 4 graduate transfers looking to add to the depth of the team and provide 300 games of experience. McKenna Wright has the story.
Game 3 of the quarterfinals on the road. As the 6th seed, they advance to the semis and they knock out Sacred Heart.
Yeah, we felt disappointed in how the season ended last year. I think that's given us a little more fuel in our tank as we approach this year. This year so far has been really good. The attitude's been terrific. We're working on a little bit of piece of our game for every practice. I think we've had 6 practices so far. The guys have been really eager, been focused. So things are going well at this point.
The opening of the Martiri Family Arena has been a monumental moment in Pioneers hockey, serving not only as an attraction for the fans, but for potential recruits and transfer students as well. But for head coach CJ Maratolo, the integrity of his program is his #1 priority.
Yeah, we're looking to make sure they're the right fit. We do a lot of homework on them. We talk to their coach, that they're coming from. We've talked to their junior coaches just to get a feel for them. And the young guys that we have coming in here, we feel are gonna make our team better. That's the bottom line, right?
With 13 new faces added to the Pioneers roster, 4 of them are graduate students looking to make Sacred Heart their final destination. Among them, Mark Sharmetta.
Kind of like a no-brainer for me. I was like, this is a great spot. I'm gonna come in and hopefully have a lot of impact and, just try to help the team win.
I mean, that whole graduate group is really solid. What we've seen out of Mark so far, he's a real student of the game. Works on his game, that means on the ice and off the ice. He's got a terrific skill level, can handle a puck, very high hockey IQ. So we're very excited that he chose Sacred Heart, and I think he's gonna be a big piece to our puzzle.
Having spent the last 3 seasons in the Big Ten, this final season for Mark will be something different in the Atlantic.
Maybe for other people, they might be saying, they might be targeting me maybe. It's a lot of compete, especially in the Atlantic. So I have my own personal goals. I like to keep them to myself and just, put in the work, put in the effort. And I think if you do that, if you stay dialed, if you stay consistent, I think everything will come. I'm just ready for the season, yeah.
And the goal is just to leave this jersey in a better place. So everybody comes in, it is where it is, and we want to try to elevate that going forward. And we feel if we do that and we're good teammates and we're good people and we work hard, I think we'll get to where we're trying to get to at the end of the day.
In Fairfield, Connecticut, for The Pulse, I'm McKenna Wright.
Big Red is a major part of Sacred Heart athletics and the SHU community. But have you ever wondered who is behind your favorite mascot? Isabella Fabo has the story.
Who is Big Red? Sacred Heart's pioneer mascot represents the university's school spirit and passion for SHU athletics. Big Red is a vital part of any game or campus event, where the performer inside the suit is tasked with keeping the energy high and the fans engaged. But who is the person behind Big Red? The person that students and members of the SHU community flock to. The person who's undoubtedly the university's biggest celebrity.
In my attempt to unmask and discover who SHU's beloved mascot is, I've learned that the identity of Big Red is one of the university's most strictly upheld secrets. So while I can't interview the person behind the mask, I'm still determined to interview at least one Big Red. Right now, I'm sitting with Big Red outside of the Pitt Center. Students make it a point to stop here on their campus tours to rub his head for good luck in their admission to the university. What do you think it takes to be Big Red? No comment? I guess the secrecy has no limits.
With no luck uncovering who is behind Big Red, I decided to turn to the SHU community to find out what they think.
So how does the secrecy surrounding Big Red make you feel? Do you want to know who is inside the mascot?
Honestly, it's quite concerning that this is not disclosed to the student body.
I think I definitely want to know who's in there, but I think everybody brings a different personality to the mascot. I think I kind of want to know, but I also think it's fun to keep a little secret and have people wondering.
But what makes Big Red and being a pioneer so special?
Big Red is kind of like our uniting mascot, somebody that brings us together, somebody that we can root for, whether it's at football games or just, seeing him around the hallways.
The camaraderie, the spirit that the school has, I feel like he really represents us well.
I think Big Red just brings everybody together. When you see him running around in the stands, like, I'm an athlete, so when we see him get in the crowd, like, hyped up, it's like, it really means a lot because he just gets everybody going, and like, as athletes, we need that. We feed off that energy, and it just gets us fired up.
What does it mean for you to be a pioneer?
Excellence, just going out every day and trying my best here at Sacred Heart University.
Being a pioneer means that going where no one else has gone before and trying to really, tread your own path.
Although we may never find out who's behind the Big Red mascot, it's become clear that every pioneer here at SHU has what it takes. The pioneers are at the heart of the Big Red mascot. So if you ever find yourself wondering who is Big Red, we are Big Red. This is Isabella Fabo reporting for The Pulse, Fairfield, Connecticut.
The secret of Big Red may not be the only mystery here at SHU. The origin of our pioneer is not widely known. It all started with Pope John XXIII, who the SHU community may also know as Cardinal Angelo Roncalli. He supported the role of laity in the church and told them to go forth and be pioneers. Although I'm not sure this is exactly the kind of pioneer he had in mind.
Well, speaking of pioneers and performers, Brad Hutchinson is going to give us a look at what the Theater Arts program has planned for this semester.
Thank you, Victoria. With the new year upon us, let's take a look at what the Performing Arts program is up to this semester. Some of you may have noticed the construction in the NC hallway, which is rapidly progressing for our new Performing Arts wing. This area will have a brand new theater rehearsal space, new dance studios, a choir room, a band room, as well as expanded storage and offices for the department to take full advantage of. But as we wait for the construction to be completed, the Edgerton Center for Performing Arts is still holding performances this semester. Starting with the Theater Arts program, also known as TAP, there'll be 3 major performances. At the end of September, head over to the Little Theater to see the Pulitzer Prize winning play, Crimes of the Heart, a story about 3 sisters who reunite after one shoots her husband. Later in October, check out Ride the Cyclone, a new musical about 6 teens whose lives are cut short in a freak roller coaster accident. And rounding off the fall season, head to the Edgerton in early November to see Little Woman, the beloved story of the March sisters as they grow up in Civil War America. This fall, the choir program will be offering lots of great performances with the Autumn Leaves Festival, Exile and Exploration, and the Blended Hearts performances. Lastly, in mid-November, the Edgerton will be home to the spectacular dance program. Don't miss out on Dances at Dusk, Incandescence, and all their new shows. If you're looking for more info, it's all posted on the Edgerton Center website. Back to you.
Thanks, Brad. After the break, you won't believe what the Sisters of Kappa Delta did for their first sisterhood event.
And get ready for a tour of our brand new studios.
We'll be right back.
The next 4 years will educate your mind, body, and spirit. Will challenge you. Will introduce you to yourself. They'll show you the world and expand your horizons. Redefine your notion of community and make your family a whole lot bigger. They'll push you to your limits and then show you that that was just your starting line. They'll teach you the meaning of service, that we are because of who we all are. These next 4 years are your time. Welcome to Sacred Heart. Welcome to your future.
Looking for new ways to de-stress this semester? The Sisters of Kappa Delta decided to try something new and stress-free for their first sisterhood event. Isabella Giardina has the story.
I'm with Kappa Delta here at Sacred Heart University, where they will be doing their first sisterhood of the year, Goat Yoga.
Out here? Yay! Like between sessions.
Goat Yoga was started in Oregon in 2016 by a woman who had anxiety and an autoimmune disease. She found that spending time with her goats helped calm her down, as well as boost her serotonin. With that, she decided to create the concept of goat yoga to share her experience with others, and it's safe to say it quickly gained popularity.
Hi, I'm Melissa from Bradley Mountain Farm in Southington. So we just did a great session of goat yoga with Kappa Delta, and we definitely see the same benefits for our customers and even for ourselves. You can't be mad when you're petting a goat. You can't be sad when you're petting a goat. It's controlled chaos and it's so much fun. Definitely a lot more goats than yoga, but you get the benefits of both from doing goat yoga. It reduces anxiety, increases serotonin, you get a little bit of a dopamine hit, and it's fun for everybody.
Hi, I'm Julia Leek. I'm the Director of Member Retention in Kappa Delta.
And I'm Erica Santangeli. I'm the Vice President of Inclusion.
We came up with the sisterhood of goat yoga.
Basically, I just looked up where to find goat yoga near me, and then I found this amazing company, and they have a Goating to You. So we used a house in Bridgeport that one of our members lived at. Basically, the thought behind it was that girls really love to get outside and exercise and get their bodies moving, and they also really loved animals, and we knew that it was a great way to de-stress.
Sisterhood is something very important to us, so we knew that the goat yoga would be intriguing to girls and it would bring everyone together. So it was a really nice, calm, relaxing afternoon for the sisters.
Hi, my name is Haley Falero and I'm the Panhellenic delegate for Kappa Delta. And today we had goat yoga and I was one of the goat handlers, which means I got to assist the goats hopping on top of the girls' backs. And today was so great. It's such a nice day out and all the girls got to get a nice, fun, relaxing break before this busy week.
Hi, my name is Zoe Shashad. So I am here at the Kappa Delta event doing goat yoga, and it was honestly a really great experience because yoga is already relaxing enough. But with the goats, I feel like I was even more calm, and it was kind of like more like playful in a way, but like it was very relaxing and I had a great time.
Hi, my name is Isabel Pace. I'm the Vice President of Kappa Delta, and it's super great that we have events like goat yoga for our sisterhood events because it helps with health and wellness as well as reducing stress and anxiety, and it's just a great start to the semester overall, and we should definitely be having more events like this throughout the semester.
I loved having goat yoga this morning. It was a great way to start my Sunday. I think having more like health and wellness events as a sisterhood is like really nice and beneficial for everybody involved.
Whether it's the exercise of yoga or the fun with goats, it's hard to say no to an afternoon of goat yoga. I'm Isabella Giardina, reporting for The Pulse.
Well, Molly, I know what we're doing after this.
I don't know how relaxed I'll feel with a goat climbing on my back, but sure, let's do it. After 8 years of recording our show in Studio A, Sacred Heart's School of Communication, Media, and the Arts renovated its Studio B. It is now state-of-the-art, and fellow senior producer Isabella Gatos and I have the story. One of the amazing things that the School of Communications, Media, and the Arts has here at Sacred Heart University is the hands-on professional equipment that students can use each and every day. Studios A and B here in the Martiri building have been renovated this past summer, and today I'm going to give you an exclusive inside look with one of the masterminds behind the project. Follow me. All right, everybody, so we are inside Studio B with Professor Stryovi, who is also known as Professor Z here at Sacred Heart University, and he is one of the masterminds behind this beautiful studio that we are standing in right now. So, Professor Z, tell us, what was the inspiration behind this studio?
Well, part of it was our Studio A, that was the news set before, was getting cramped. You know, when we built this building back in 2015, when we first opened it, the idea was we had a news studio and we had this blank box that could be used for a lot of things. But as many things we develop over time, things change, and it became apparent that we mostly used our studio spaces here for broadcast, for journalism.
When we looked at our spaces, we realized that when we moved in, we'd crowded one studio a little too much and Studio B was being underutilized, so we just flipped it over.
This allows us to be able to go from a news segment to a sit-down segment to a stand-up just by turning a camera. In the middle here, this is going to be our stand-up area, and it looks a little blank right now. That's because we do have, it's not in here yet, we had a donation from a broadcast facility of a giant LED screen that's going to go here. This is our new news desk right here, a little bit bigger than the old one. Little plexiglass top here. We have 2 screens built into the front there, so we can have 2 anchors on this side, 2 anchors on this side. But we also have behind the anchors giant TVs on both sides, so we have like 85-inch TVs. A lot of these set pieces are movable, so we have these with the Sacred Heart logo on them. We also have one for Sports Buzz, one for the Pulse, so that way different shows can bring their branding in and out. We got all new wireless mics. So before we were tethered to the desk, tethered to cables. We bought some new wireless mics so people can roam around freely. We also bought wireless IFBs. Every anchor can walk up, go wherever they need to be for the positions, and that's really on par with what the local news stations are doing, right? They're all wireless everything, so that way we're not worried about tripping on cables. So we're doing that stuff in the background.
And that's one of the great things that makes Sacred Heart so great, is because not only do we have all of this professional equipment, but it's the location of Sacred Heart as well, because we're so close to Boston, New York, like the biggest markets in broadcasting. So if students are able to use all the hands-on equipment, they'll be ready for those big markets post-graduation.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was walking through ESPN over the summer and they have some of the same stuff we have in the control room.
We're, I think, moving beyond like a regional power when it comes to production and the way our students move out into professional spaces.
It was a committee effort. I have to give her props. I don't want to take all the credit, because of myself, Professor Golda, Professor Alicastro, Professor Miller, Professor Thorne. We all sat down in several meetings to go over this stuff and look at it, because we're the ones that do a lot of the broadcasting, so they were all in on these meetings as well, making sure we all liked what the look was and all these things. So this went through a lot of iterations, vastly different from what the original spec looked like.
Whenever we have students come back to us and visit or talk to our current students, they always say the same thing: take advantage of what's here.
There are so many things to look forward to with the talented students we have here on campus, and to see what they produce in this studio. Reporting from Fairfield, Connecticut, I'm Molly Jacob, The Pulse.
The School of Communication, Media, and the Arts have really outdone themselves. I mean, look at this setup.
Yeah, this setup sets us up perfectly for success, and thank you so much to everyone involved.
I agree. Well, that is all we have today.
Thanks for watching another episode, and make sure to tune in to more episodes of The Pulse. I'm Molly Jacob.
And I'm Victoria Montori. We'll see you next time on The Pulse.